Imagine a bustling coffee shop on a crisp autumn morning. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee fills the air as people rush in and out, their faces etched with the worries of everyday life. Among the crowd, a young woman named Sarah sits alone, her fingers nervously tapping on the table as she stares at her nearly empty bank account on her phone. She sighs, wondering how she'll make ends meet this month. Little does Sarah know that her life is about to change forever. As she's about to leave, a mysterious older gentleman takes a seat across from her. His eyes twinkle with wisdom and success. "Excuse me," he says, "but I couldn't help noticing your distress. May I share a story with you?" Intrigued, Sarah nods, and the gentleman begins to weave a tale that would eventually become known as Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. "You see," the man begins, leaning in closer, "I was once like you, struggling, living paycheck to paycheck, wondering why some people seem to have it all while I could barely scrape by. But then I discovered a secret that changed everything." Sarah's eyes widen with curiosity. "What secret?" she asks, her voice barely above a whisper. The man smiles knowingly. "The secret of the millionaire mind. You see, it's not about how much money you make, but how you think about money that truly matters." He goes on to explain that our financial blueprint, the way we think and feel about money, is shaped by our upbringing and experiences. "But here's the kicker," he says, "we can change it. We can reprogram our minds for success." Sarah leans in, captivated by every word. The man continues, sharing principles that would form the foundation of Eker's book. "First," he says, holding up a finger, "you must understand that rich people think differently. They believe I create my life while others believe life happens to them. Which one are you, Sarah?" Sarah ponders this for a moment, realizing she often felt like a victim of circumstance. The man nods understandingly. "Second," he continues, "rich people play the money game to win. Poor people play not to lose. It's about taking calculated risks, not hiding in fear." As he speaks, Sarah feels a shift in her perspective. She begins to see how her own fears have held her back. The gentleman goes on, explaining how rich people are committed to being rich, while others simply wish for it. "Wishing won't make you rich, Sarah. You need to commit to it with every fiber of your being." He shares anecdotes of people who changed their lives by changing their mindset. There's the story of Jack, a janitor who became a millionaire by investing wisely and thinking big, and Maria, a single mother who built a successful business empire from her kitchen table. Each story resonates with Sarah, making her realize that her own limitations were mostly in her mind. The man leans back, a twinkle in his eye. "But here's where it gets really interesting," he says. "Rich people admire other rich and successful people. Poor people resent them. Which camp are you in, Sarah?" Sarah blushes, remembering times she'd felt envious of others' success. The man nods knowingly. "It's natural," he says, "but it's holding you back. Instead of resenting success, learn from it. Model it. Embrace it." He goes on to explain how rich people associate with positive, successful people, while others hang out with negative or unsuccessful people. "Your net worth," he says with a wink, "is often a reflection of your network." Sarah thinks about her own circle of friends, realizing how their collective mindset has influenced her own. The gentleman continues, sharing principle after principle. He talks about how rich people are willing to promote themselves and their value, while others think negatively about selling and promotion. "But remember," he says, holding up a cautionary finger, "this isn't about being boastful or arrogant. It's about knowing your worth and not being afraid to share it with the world." He explains how rich people are bigger than their problems, while others are smaller than their problems. "Every problem," he says, "is an opportunity in disguise. The size of the person is more important than the size of the problem." Sarah nods, thinking of all the times she felt overwhelmed by her challenges instead of rising to meet them. The man leans in, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. Now, here's a big one. Rich people are excellent receivers. Poor people are poor receivers. Sarah looks confused, and the man chuckles. It's not just about giving, Sarah. It's about being open to receiving as well. Many people sabotage their own success because they don't feel worthy of receiving wealth. He shares the story of Tom, a talented artist who consistently underpriced his work because he didn't feel worthy of charging more. Once Tom learned to value himself and his art, his income tripled within a year. The gentleman continues, explaining how rich people choose to get paid based on results, while others choose to get paid based on time. Time is limited, he says, but results can be unlimited. Which would you rather be paid for? Sarah's mind races, thinking of ways she could apply this principle to her own work. The man goes on, sharing more secrets of the millionaire mind. He talks about how rich people think both, while others think either. Why settle for less when you can have it all? He asks with a grin. He explains how rich people focus on their net worth, while others focus on their working income. Your true wealth, he says, is not in your paycheck, but in what you keep and grow. Sarah listens intently as the man shares more principles. He talks about how rich people manage their money well, while others mismanage it. How rich people have their money work hard for them, while others work hard for their money. But remember, he says, his voice growing serious, this isn't about greed or selfishness. It's about creating abundance in your life so you can help others and make a positive impact on the world. He shares stories of wealthy individuals who use their resources to make a difference, from funding schools in underprivileged areas to supporting environmental causes. As the man speaks, Sarah feels a growing sense of excitement and possibility. She begins to see how she can apply these principles to her own life, how she can change her financial blueprint. The gentleman leans back, a satisfied smile on his face. So, Sarah, he says, are you ready to develop your millionaire mind? Sarah nods enthusiastically, her eyes shining with newfound determination. The man stands, preparing to leave. Remember, he says, wealth is a mindset first and a reality second. Change your mind, and you'll change your life. As he turns to go, Sarah calls out, "Wait, who are you?" The man smiles mysteriously. Just someone who once sat where you're sitting now. The rest, as they say, is history. With that, he disappears into the bustling crowd, leaving Sarah with a head full of ideas and a heart full of hope. As Sarah sits there, processing everything she's learned, she realizes that this chance encounter has given her the tools to transform her life. She pulls out a notebook and begins to jot down the principles she's learned, determined to put them into practice. She looks around the coffee shop, seeing it with new eyes. The harried businessman in the corner, a potential mentor, the cheerful barista, a lesson in excellent customer service. Even her own half-empty coffee cup seems to whisper, "Are you a half-empty or a half-full kind of person?" Sarah laughs to herself, realizing how much her perspective has already shifted. She stands up, ready to face the world with her new millionaire mindset. As she walks out of the coffee shop, she feels as though she's stepping into a new life, one filled with possibility, abundance, and success. And so, dear listener, as we conclude this tale of Sarah and the mysterious gentleman, we invite you to ask yourself, are you ready to unlock the secrets of the millionaire mind? Are you prepared to challenge your beliefs about money and success? The choice, as always, is yours. But remember, as T. Harv Eker would say, your income can grow only to the extent you do. So, what will you choose? Will you remain where you are, or will you embark on the journey to develop your own millionaire mind? The coffee shop awaits, and who knows? Your own life-changing encounter might be just around the corner.